expedition during the Civil War, the first woman to do so. She guided the Combahee River Raid in South Carolina, which liberated over 700 slaves and destroyed valuable Confederate supplies. The Civil War ended in 1865, and Harriet settled for good in Auburn, New York. Now widowed, she married a war veteran, Nelson Davis, who, like her, had been enslaved. They adopted a daughter named Gertie. The property in Auburn had been a haven for her family and friends for many years. With emancipation came increased problems of poverty, homelessness, and hunger in the black community. Harriet did her part to help those around her. She had an open-door policy for anyone in need, raising money from the sale of homegrown produce and pigs, and with the donations from friends. The royalties from the sale of a biography by Sarah Bradford also helped offset expenses. Unfortunately, since Harriet had not been designated as an official member of the military, she had never received a salary from the Union Army or a pension like other veterans. It wasn't until Nelson died in 1888 that she finally received money as a war widow. It was the sum of $8 a month, equivalent to about $770 in modern currency. In her late 60s, Harriet began speaking about women's rights and voting. Although black men had gained the right to vote in 1870, women, regardless of race, were still unable to exercise their franchise. She joined other suffragettes, such as Susan B. Anthony and Elizabeth Cady Stanton, on speaking engagements. She was also the keynote speaker at the first meeting of the National Federation of Afro-American Women in 1896. That same year, Harriet made a successful bid on a 25-acre property in Auburn. The African Methodist Episcopal Zion Church helped with the mortgage. Later, she donated a parcel of land to the church for the Harriet Tubman Home for the Aged, which opened in 1908. While the country of her birth was slow to recognize her contributions, Harriet's brave exploits had reached the attention of Britain's Queen Victoria. In 1897, she was invited to the monarch's birthday celebrations in England. Financial straits prevented her from making the journey, but the Queen sent a silk shawl and a silver medal. Harriet treasured these gifts for the rest of her life and was buried with the medal. In her later years, she underwent surgery to relieve some of the continuing painful symptoms of the head injury. Due to her health deteriorating, she moved into
Who don't know, Madlib has produced the whole next Black Star record, and I'm excited about it. It sounds cool. Y'all seen their content. why you feel like they need to come to you directly.
Okay.
I mean, not to me, because I know.
No.
For people like for the rest of us
First of all,
who aren't there,
this is not like I'm critical of streaming. Like streaming is a nigga that live in my building, who got a, you know what I'm saying, who got a bad attitude or a leaky bathroom.
I don't fuck with that streaming.
Like that streaming nigga, I don't like him. See the way he be treating his family.
that nigga streaming move funny.
He's always shouting at his girl, and she's nice anyway.
Yeah, whatever.
It's not about streaming. That's not the problem, right? It's about, you mean to tell me that the source of labor at the center of this experience
Preach.
is supposed to be satisfied and grateful with receiving a portion of a penny for their efforts and labor. Now, whoever else is happy with that, then that's you. You can take your labor to the market however you see fit. But when it relates to something that I'm doing, and that I've been doing, I don't have to ask you niggas permission. I don't have to get your understanding. If I'm ambivalent or like, I don't know, something I just don't feel right, and I'm searching for a better way to do it, that's completely my volition. I'm not here to be run by the audience's expectations.
Yes.
Right? Because I have my own needs. You have your own needs. And to quote Kurt Cobain, it's only a few people that really love music, and they all musicians. And people that appreciate and listen to music don't like to hear that shit. And you know why? Because the reality is that people who really, really love music, at some point, they all try to make it.
Oh my days. It should be game over, right? Oh, this is so dumb. Should be game over.
for me. Go ahead, say that. Go ahead. Go ahead. In the 60s, we knew who the enemy was. But in 2007, you're the enemy. It's black people killing black people. Black people robbing black people. Black people raping black people. I'm talking to you. You gangbangers know the principle of retaliation, but you are retaliating on the cheapest of principles. You're not retaliating because of oppression, injustice. You're retaliating because you don't like the color that your brother is wearing. You don't like the gang that he's a part of. You don't like the area of the city that he comes from, and he may be encroaching upon your drug market, so you retaliate. We are not talking about that. And I cannot call for retaliation in matters of the slain when you have become the #1 slayers of yourself and your own people. The 60s were different. 50 years later, the context is different. God is retaliating in his own way. But this murder that is going on in our own community makes it difficult for me to make the right and necessary call for your justice.
We are protesting against the genocidal Bolsonaro government that did not buy vaccines and has done nothing to take care of its people in the last year.
Experts warn the situation in Brazil could get even worse as the coronavirus continues to spread and a severe drought threatens water supply, farming, and the devastating fire season in the Amazon. In Japan, the governor of Tokyo canceled public viewing sites for next month's contested Summer Olympics, with some sites to be used as vaccination centers instead. Uganda's imposed strict new COVID restrictions, including banning both public and private transportation, as Uganda and other African nations face mounting outbreaks. In Iran, Ibrahim